let's go ahead and talk about the latest episode of Superman and Lois. Actually, gonna be the last time we're talking about this show for a while because, unfortunately, it's going on hiatus for like a 7-week hiatus here because, COVID filming and everything. They need to get some episodes stocked up here. So we're not going to be seeing any more new episodes until May, but we will have Supergirl taking over the time slot, so we'll be having that season start up on Tuesday. So, of course, we'll be talking about that as well. But, this show is just so good. It's going to be sad not having a new episode every week. But for now, we do have this one last episode until we get new episodes again. And this is episode 5 of Superman and Lois, the best of Smallville. So, of course, spoiler warning if you haven't seen the episode yet, because we are breaking this down in depth. And let's get into it. So we find out that one of Clark's favorite things about Smallville is the Harvest Fest. And I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure this was something in the Smallville series as well, which I love seeing all these references to Smallville because I love that series. So we see that's really where the whole episode takes place, is at this Harvest Fest, or at least during this time period. And one of the things that I love seeing in this episode, really the whole series so far, is the effects that the move to Smallville has on Jonathan, because he really did leave his whole life behind him in Metropolis. He left football, he left his girlfriend, and now his girlfriend Eliza actually called him up and dumped him here, which was kind of a jerk move. Like, first of all, just to do it over the phone, you do something like that, you've been dating him for over a year, and then also the fact that she said she was coming to the Harvest Fest, and then she just dumps him. Not a good person right there, although teenagers are foolish, I know, because I am one. But, so Jonathan is just not having a good time. Life is not going the way he wanted it to. But he and Jordan go to the Harvest Fest, and he gets drunk, starts drinking and partying and everything, basically makes some really, really bad decisions. Meanwhile, Jordan has this kind of date with Sarah, and, things are going great, and they're having a moment until Jonathan and his friends show up and basically ruin everything. And I love how Jordan actually doesn't make a big deal out of it. Like, he's like, all right, I get it, you're going through a hard time, it's all right. So I really love seeing their relationship as brother. It's a really cool relationship that I really love seeing here. And then our conclusion to this storyline in the episode is that we see at the end of the episode, Clark gives Jonathan this box that has been passed down within the family. And at first I thought it was like the box that had the orange kryptonite crystal thing in it that we saw Martha give to Clark in the flashbacks. But no, it's just an empty box. But it's all about symbolism, and it's like a metaphor, and all that heebie-jeebie stuff. So it was cool. It was a nice little ending to that storyline. Obviously life still is not perfect for him, but at least he has a little bit of closure, and he can feel that, life is in Smallville now. So I thought that was a pretty cool storyline in this episode. But let's get into talk about the main thing in this episode, because something that was really huge in last episode was the character of Sharon Powell and how her son was missing because he went to work with Morgan Edge. But now Sharon Powell showed up again. But this time, Derek is with her. So Derek is all of a sudden returned. But then we find out that apparently he has full-on Kryptonian powers, and he actually burns down the whole community center where all of the Harvest Fest donations were. So that's not good. And when Lois goes to investigate, we actually see that Captain Luthor shows up as well. And you can tell that he clearly has some sort of relationship with Lois from his Earth. And obviously we get that big reveal at the end. Again, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, it was pretty interesting seeing this relationship here. And we do see that Chrissy actually investigates Derek. And we see that Morgan Edge's like evil Supergirl, I think her name is Leslie Lar, she is actually like experimenting on him. Like, she puts him in this tube and everything. And because he was having trouble, like he was having headaches and couldn't control his powers. So then Superman shows up and goes after them. So then Derek flies away and he starts burning down barns and cornfields while Captain Luthor actually chases them. And he actually completely shoots them down. He like gets out of his RV, pulls out a full-on rocket launcher, like laser rocket launcher. Is pretty cool. And he shoots them down. And then Derek kind of like, he like self-destructs or like melts. And you could tell that it really wasn't, like, he didn't do that on purpose. And Clark even said this, like, I don't think he was the one that did that. It's almost like maybe Leslie Lar or Morgan Edge was like, all right, this guy's out of control. We can't control him anymore. Time to deactivate him. And now he's dead. I mean, it was cool seeing him, you know, like, melt. Like, it was cool with, like, the visual effects and everything. But at the same time, you know, he dead. So, yeah, it was kind of sad. But, yeah, then we got some pretty interesting stuff here where apparently Morgan Edge replaced all of the destroyed Harvest Fest donations, which you'd think is a good thing, but this guy always has some ulterior motive, so it can't be a good thing. He's just trying to gain the trust of the Smallville people even more than he already has. He's just layering on those layers of trust, and man, that's a bad guy. But Lana reveals to the town the Martha Kent bench. And it even says on it, like, Martha Kent, the best of Smallville. So I really thought that was cool. And it's got a plaque and everything. And then we actually get a flashback to when that's actually where Clark and Martha sat when Clark left on a train and just left Smallville. And we got a couple different flashbacks throughout the episode here with teenage Clark, with him, like I said before, getting the orange crystal from Martha, him suiting up in like a ski mask and everything to fight crime. And there's some pretty cool stuff here. And I'm a little confused, like, why did he leave Smallville as a teenager? So I don't really know why that happened or what's going on here, because as far as I'm aware, this hasn't happened in any other Superman media, so it's a new adaptation, and I guess we'll have to see where this goes. So that was definitely pretty interesting. But our big cliffhangers for this episode, the first one being that Captain Luthor has some more flashbacks to his Earth, and because the reason he was investigating Lois in this episode and getting so close with her is because he says, like, she's just like she was on his Earth. The only difference is she's married to someone else. Because on his Earth, he was married to Lois Lane, not Clark Kent. And that was a pretty big reveal. I mean, I kind of expected it as it was going, but I mean, I think it's pretty cool because really, on Captain Luthor's Earth, everything is the opposite. Superman is evil, not good. Lois Lane is with Lex Luthor, not Clark Kent. And it was, I thought it was a pretty cool reveal, and I'm excited to see, you know, where this goes, because we've gotten these reveals, but I'm excited to see where this actually takes us in this series. But then the other cliffhanger that we got in this episode is that after Jordan and Sarah have another talk, he starts walking away, and then all of a sudden he gets attacked. And turns out it's Tag from last episode, the guy that was like vibrating and like couldn't control his powers. Turns out maybe I'm thinking maybe he has full-on Kryptonian powers, because we saw that that Derek Powell was vibrating like that a little bit as well. So maybe Tag has full Kryptonian powers. He just hasn't, you know, explored all of them yet. So he attacks Jordan, and he's like, what did you do to me? And all this stuff. And then he just starts beating him up. And we know from the end of last episode that Tag went to this, like, specialized school for special kids, you know, kids that have powers like him. And I just thought it was funny how, like, it already sounds exactly like the X-Men with, like, a school for, like, gifted students and all that stuff. But then literally the uniform he's wearing has a big yellow X on it. Like, this is literally X-Men. I mean, obviously it's not, because this is DC, not Marvel, but it's so clearly huge references to X-Men, which, you know, honestly, I'm not complaining about, because, you know, we're not getting any X-Men content right now, so might as well use him in DC, am I right? So, I don't know. It was pretty interesting. I did not expect him to be back at all, but he is, and looks like he's going to be possibly maybe the next Derek Powell, which is just my theory, but I'm thinking that's what may be going on here. But guys, that was pretty much what happened to end off the episode. So let me know your thoughts on this episode down in the comments below. Of course, your theories for the rest of Superman and Lois Season 1. So thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.